Hi, friends. Welcome again to our Soaring Through Chaos. As you know, we've been doing these sessions in order to help all of us find ways in which we can find meaning in our journey of life. Yes, we are now, I think, officially in the second wave of the pandemic, but that should not stop us from having a life. And with me here is an amazing person I got to know at the Gandhi Ashram in the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad, Nimo Patel, who, like me, at some stage in his life, went searching for meaning. And I guess that's what brought us together at the Gandhi Ashram. I remember he was doing an amazing session for women. It was the goddess festival known as Navaratri, the 9 nights of the goddess. And I think he took it upon himself to create an amazing video of honoring women. Nimesh, can you tell us a little bit about that thing? That was, I think, the fall of 2018. And also what led you to do all kinds of things like this?
Thanks, Shankar, and nice to be here with you. Thank you for your intention to plant seeds of hope in the hearts of all of us, during these difficult times. That story you were sharing during Navaratri, where we first connected, I think it might have been at CEPT University. We were filming this music video called of a song that my friends and I wrote. It's a song in Gujarati and English, and it's always, been a message that's been dear to mine and many of our family and friends' hearts, of this idea how in many cultures, the way we respect women, the way we put the masculine on a pedestal of some sort, and really kind of have the divine feminine kind of in the background, it's really kind of sad and harmful, actually, to our humanity. And so this music video and song is dedicated to this idea that, we're nothing, literally, actually, and figuratively, without the presence of the females on the planet and in our lives, and the divine feminine, the spirit of compassion and humility and sacrifice. So this video was this kind of hope to recreate that spirit, and it's done in 3 separate stories: a husband and wife story, a mother and son story, and a grandmother story, of 3 different stories that we take through in the music video. But to me, Shankar, the most powerful part of this journey with this specific song was the moment we actually recorded the music video. And what we did is we had purchased 25 kg of rose petals.
Well, I know. Yes.
And the whole intention was we invited women from all different communities to come. And there were women from the political elite of Ahmedabad in Gujarat to our amazing and beautiful rag picking women that pick up the trash from the streets to recycle, to feed their families. So many women from different walks of life. And the most amazing part of this process was in the beginning of the music video, and maybe I'll share the screen and show it after this, but in the beginning of the music video, I was trying to figure out what's the best way we could honor our women through, and then so it's not only physically at that moment, but then you also want to capture it so that in the video it has that longevity to show an audience as well, that form of love and respect. So we took these rose petals, all the guys lined up along the pathway of the entrance to this museum that we were going to be shooting the video in. And in the beginning of the music video, we asked all the women to make a long line and just keep going in a circle. And we would just keep showering them with rose petals. And I remember we did it for about 15 minutes. And I remember because we had to move on, we only had the museum for a gallery for a limited time. I said, okay, I think they've enjoyed it. We've enjoyed it. It's been amazing. I was like, okay, guys, we're going to have to stop now to move on to the next scene. And then the Beno came to me. They're like, no, don't stop. They're like, we've never, ever been treated like this in our entire life.
Wow.
And I'm just going to share screen, Shankar, because I'm just going to share the 20 seconds of that
Yes,
beginning.
please, indeed.
And it's really a beautiful sight to see them with that joy that they have. Give me 1 second. Here is the beginning of that music video, Ode to Women. That's all I that's all I wanted to share.
Wow. Wow, it's fascinating. It's fascinating.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, joyous theme for all of us to collaborate on and actually share. Shankar, one of the beautiful things, Ellie, my close friend, I call her my soul sister. She lives in Washington, D.C. Her and I have created all these Empty Hands music videos. We've created, I think, 11 over the last 5-6 years. And they're all $0 or low budget videos that we get through volunteership and people coming together and supporting. What I found so powerful is that it's been extracting the message of the song and saying, how can we actually practice this message in the process of creating this video? So it's not like, hey, how do we create a facade in a video, put it on YouTube and try to get as many hits, but it's like, this message while we create the video and engage community so we can all be a part of that process. And that's been really fun.
You know what I noticed, I mean, to put it in my neurological terms, it's like an embodied visceral experience. In other words, it is the compassion flows through the actions in that. I remember, I think you had a video in which a child somehow jumps into a trash can or something, or collecting trash, or I don't remember now. But real time, these things actually are happening. So it is
Right.
not choreographed necessarily. Yes, there's a theme and there's an overall, what do you call this thing, but each person is experiencing that, and the experience is being shared. So it's almost like reality TV. This is reality music, where people
it's
are
been
actually
powerful.
going through that experience. And it's very powerful because it creates emotional contagion. It creates emotional bonding among people who are there. And there's compassion in action. They're actually doing it. So in this case, it was the showering of women with rose petals, and the women experiencing that and receiving it, which is not common in our cultures. Women receiving, being honored. Men take it for granted. We are used to being the rajas, we are used to being the kings or the princes.
Really.
But women are not, to be able to experience that. And then the audience just gets it. So amazing. And what got you on this journey? I mean, what, when it all looks so good that people associate Nimo with being the happy person who's always doing good things. Were you always like this, or what changed?
Actually, I was always like this, which is
good.
I would accredit it to my parents, the upbringing, and just the environment. I always really feel blessed that I grew up in such a diverse community of human beings, and Asian, African, Mexican, Caucasian, all walks of the planet was in my community, in my elementary school, in my junior high school, in my high school. And that really gave, I don't know, it was so freeing to be a part of that, have that brought up. And I think that I look back and I really feel the joy in my heart comes from that space of having been brought up in a space where I feel like and I had the opportunity to connect with everyone. But I think what I'm feeling from your question more so is that the journey that I've been on in the last 10 years wasn't my plan. the, I've always been cuckoo and crazy and enjoying. And even when I used to drink alcohol, I was like a fun drunk, like I would enjoy myself, I would give more hugs. So that was always in my, I guess, in my nature. But it was, I think, just as you mentioned, it's like, when we go through suffering, and we all do, right? So every human being goes through suffering, and it's like I think the beauty is in, like, do we have the tools to respond to it? How do we respond to suffering? And I think, if I was to say, like, in education, if we taught our children how to respond to suffering, how to respond to, and we do, I think there's more and more social, emotional learning going on in schools, and I've definitely been more a part of that in my tours with my music, connecting with teachers in schools. But I think that's the tools that we need, because if we're able to transmute and transform that suffering into wisdom, then we start finding ourselves on a path that is more healing, that is more compassion oriented, because we start realizing that it's like, when you get out of yourself and start looking outwards towards others and not blaming others but serving others, is when we start feeling a little more happy and a little less depressed,
Yes.
So,
And empty hands has been such a blessing. I mean, I know millions of people who play it. Recently, my wife was playing Bruno Mars, and I said, "That sounds like Nimo, Empty Hands." She said, "No, this is Bruno Mars." And then I showed her Empty Hands for the first time. She had not seen the oldest video. That's been my favorite. Which one is that? It's
there's planting seeds and grateful and being kind.
Yeah, both planting seeds and grateful.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Wow!" And she said, "I don't know how I missed it." She was brought up in Gujarat for some time, and then we both have a crush on Gujarat. We are not Gujaratis per se. We live
I like
in this
that.
state.
A little secret. I think I also have a little crush on Gujarat. I've been living there for the last 10 years.
Same here. I just finished 3 years in Vadodara,
Nice.
the Sanskari Nagari of Gujarat. So again, it's really the culture, the music, the dances, and all that. So would you like to share another of your videos and your journey? How did that one happen? Because there's so much wisdom in your songs and in the whole thing.
I'll share like just a beginning part of maybe the first half of a music video, Planting Seeds, that we were talking about right now.
Yeah.
And then I'll share about the I guess significance of that in my life.
Yes. I cannot see the video, by the way.
Been a long time.
So you have to share the screen. Yeah.
Thank you. So share screen. There we go.
Yes.
Now?
Yes. Perfect.
Thanks for mentioning that.
I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. That the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then, and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will song will soar. I am planting seeds. It's like your whole life you've been training for this moment, and when the time comes, you just disown it. Meaning you just surrender, don't control it. Not interested in the clay pots and mold it, or sitting next to the path trying to unfold it, or waiting for the fruits to fall down toward you. Let it go, and now you're flowing, feeling quite gorgeous. So you take steps away instead of towards it. What a rush, feeling freedom with nothing to hold. We've been taught that what you touch will always turn to gold, and now we're learning when we let it go, it overflows with no credit to take, cause no credit is home. A higher power working deeper where the seeds are sowed, and when the seeds are true, then they're seeds of gold. But the real gold is joy when life starts to flow, and when it does, you just smile, cause now you know. I spent a long time running, I never knew then what I know now. Let the fruits, they always come in, but you can't go around just knocking them down. It takes a long time to show in. We plant the seeds then, and we look at them now. But the roots are always growing, no matter if I'm there or never around. Whatever grows will grow, whatever dies will die, whatever works will work, whatever flies will fly, whatever fails will fail, what's meant to soar will soar. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow. When it grows, it grows. Whatever dies will die. When it dies, it dies. Come on. If it works, it works. Whatever flies will let it fly, let it fly. Whatever fails will fail. When it fails, it fails. What's meant to soar will soar. When it soars, it soars. I am planting seeds. Whatever grows will grow. Let it grow, let it grow. Whatever dies will die. If it dies, it dies. Whatever works will work. When it works, it works. Whatever flies, yeah. Let it fly, let it fly. Whatever fails will fail. It fails, it fails. The soul will soar. Let it soar. I am planting seeds and nothing more.
Wow. This is still my favorite song because that was the first one I heard at a Mood by Love workshop, and it's just so deeply embedded. The seed has been planted.
There's this beautiful quote that this song always kind of gets me back to, which is it's a quote by Nelson Henderson. He says, "The true meaning of life is to plant seeds of trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit." And to me, that idea of, like, even in the music video, if you see, like, that idea of like putting your hand out there to shake somebody's hand, they may not want to shake your hand, they may not want to smile to you, but that's not even the point. It's like, how do we just put our hand out there, you know, and how do we just do our small part without expecting like it needs to have this much impact or change the world, and living in that spirit changes our being, you know? And when we change that being within ourselves, then it starts impacting in ways we can't even measure. So for me, the significance of this song, Shankar, was all my life, it had been the opposite. It's kind of, I don't know, maybe similar for you after going to, you know, like business school and this education and that, and doing the things that kind of wire our minds in a certain way, where it's like you set a goal, you accomplish it, you do what you need to do to reach there. And when I came to Ahmedabad, I knew that I was coming because there was some suffering in my own heart and mind, that I wanted to relieve myself of that suffering, of that that negativity that was coming, and no matter what I had accomplished, it just was not going away. It was just kind of like, I knew that my wiring needed to change. And to me, it was like, okay, well, one step to that is, you know, if you're gonna take service as a medium to work on your own internal transformation, then you really do it with your hands up. You can't expect something in return for it, you know? And so this beginning part of my journey, I think when I started in Ahmedabad, was really an experiment to say, how do I surrender? And how do I get into a space where I have to change my habit patterns from what it used to be, of expectation, of hard work, and searching for a goal, and getting into a space of just being present and planting seeds through love. And I had this opportunity to work with a group of kids on a musical that I wanted to create. And it was really a beautiful laboratory for me, because it was like, am I doing this one for my own ego? Am I doing this type of project where I can create a show and a tour for us to go around the world and tour for the kids? Am I doing it for the organization, the Sanstha? What's the intention? And the more I worked on the purification of that intention, the clearer I became on why I was here, what I was doing, and what this next journey, this next phase of life was about. And since then, it's been that process of making sure that my intention is clear, my intention is pure, that my own agenda and ego is not mixed into the it's not like khichdi, and I don't know what is what. And that's been the process. So planting seeds was an important song and message for me, because it was like, how do I let go? Planting seeds, nothing more, whatever grows will grow, whatever. And just, I'll add to the story that this song itself was a magical experience, because it was, I remember like in 2010 or 11, I was, my friend, you might know Nipun and Guri.
Of course, that's my journey started. I've known that since 2005 in the Santa Clara, the San Francisco Bay Area. That's how my journey to India started. Yes.
There you go. Yeah, they're connected with a lot of journeys. So
service space, yes.
So they were dropping me off at the airport after we had some time together. This was in 2010, and then Nipun's like, "Here, you gotta listen to this album. I think you'll like it." And it's the album of Daniel Nahmad, who was the singer who wrote this original song, "Planting Seeds."
Oh wow! I did not know
his
that
version. Yeah, so his version is like an American folk song.
Yeah.
But for me, like, I had stopped listening to music, so when they gave it to me and it was coming from them, I was like, okay, then I'll definitely listen. And I fell in love with his album. It's called Water, and I really like dug it. And Planting Seeds, this message of like was really strong for me. It was like, learn how to practice this. And I listened to that album over and over. Eventually, when this show and this tour idea came up, and I was working with this group of 16 kids, and then we ended up getting visas and we're going on this tour. Nipun actually ended up writing an article that was about myself, my journey, and my journey with these kids. And at the end of the article, he wrote, I forgot what he wrote, but he's like, Nimo quotes this artist often that has, the words that have had impact on his journey. And he writes, whatever grows will grow, whatever dies, we're just planting seeds, nothing more. That article somehow got forwarded to Daniel. Daniel ends up emailing me saying, I heard you've been enjoying my music, this and that. I'm like, yeah, I've been loving it, brother. And I'm like, would you be willing to come to Los Angeles, to our Los Angeles show, when I bring the kids out there, and open up with a few of your songs before the kids do their 90-minute performance?
Wow.
Like, so we meet at a middle school in downtown Los Angeles where our kids are doing their show in 2012. And we meet on stage right before the show. He walks in, we're having prayer before the performance. And that's where I met Dan. And since after that, we kept in touch. And in 2013, when I started writing music again, because Empty Hands didn't, it started in 2013 when I started kind of getting back into music after a long time. This song has been so meaningful for my journey. Would you mind if we recreated it, my style,
Yes.
And that's
amazing.
how this version came about.
Wow.
So that's kind of the process of that song, yeah.
So literally, even in Daniel's case, it was, it just grew whichever way it wanted to grow. And so for you and for Nipun and for the whole community, this is amazing.
Yeah,
this is amazing.
It's a fun little story, and how you never know, right? What's like around the corner.
In fact, this is the theory behind soaring through chaos. Um, Chaos is always there in life. In fact, to expect everything to be predictable is a mistake.
Right.
We just don't even know how we were born, which sperm, was the egg was the lucky one, and there's so much out of millions or billions of sperms. One of them or one of the things got fertilized and so on. But what's more interesting is the whole journey of the embryo from within the body of the mother to coming out. There are challenges all along, including coming out of the birth canal and then out in the world and all the microbes and this and that. And we often tend to think of microbes as enemies. They're not. The microorganisms are a part of us. Right now, in Nimo's body, there's only 10% Nimo DNA and 90% microorganisms. And so also
My
in
friends.
Shankar's. And then this is actually known. The number of DNA cells, the number of DNA strands, it's only about 10, maybe 15, no more than that. Majority of you is not human DNA. So we are an ecosystem within our own physical body, and our even at the atomic, subatomic level, there's a lot of space, empty space. Talk
Right.
about empty hands. There's empty space everywhere. And
Wow.
somehow the miracle that we are what we are and what we're doing, whether it's in the macro world with pandemics or with the planetary system or the micro world with our own DNA, it's just amazing. It's a miracle.
Right.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean, I would love to see more of your music or any of your shares. Where do you see yourself going? I mean, you said that it has given tremendous clarity to you. Do you expect to continue to make music like this or let it evolve?
Yeah, brother. I think the clarity is that there is no plan, and I'm currently in a process of kind of like I was just in India because of certain family situation. I had to come out here to just be of support. So I'm in a space where, it's just open reflection time in a way. And I feel like I ideally would not want to have an agenda or a plan too much, and just I'd rather stick to having an intention of how I want to use my time and how I want to be present while I'm here. So I'm open to kind of wherever God and Mother Nature kind of unfolds it for me. I do have some music that I have worked on, which I then, whenever I get the time, I will try to release it as another gift offering, love offering to whoever would like to receive it. So I think I've been saying that for the last 2-3 years, but then I never get a chance to get to it. So last year, we did another project with a group of kids, and we ended up taking them across to the US and the UK. So that was like really one of those things that you just get sucked in because you want to be present to the children and their lives. And that was amazing. So just kind of like now not recovering in a bad way, but recovering from bandwidth in terms of maybe having more time to work on music or something. So we'll see. Inshallah, whatever God has planned.
I've seen little excerpts of video clips and photos Malti Jardi had posted on Facebook. I think she's one of the coordinators of the, Anganwadi or the community center.
Yeah, yeah.
She's a coordinator of multiple community centers in the Ahmedabad area. So amazing, amazing. I can imagine the footage,
Oh man, yeah, it's been an amazing journey, and I was dreaming that Ellie, my friend, would be able to travel with us on the whole tour, because it's just amazing some of the situations that arise, how we all respond, how the kids respond to it. These are children from very challenged communities, and now they're traveling the world. They're inspiring tens of thousands of people through their show and through the message. And yet there's so many ups and downs traveling as a family of 25 people for 45 days, and so it's just amazing to like experience that. And We didn't get a chance to record all of it, but we did record actually a few of the days, Ellie in DC and New York. So we hope one day we'll get to like maybe sharing that footage with you.
In fact, a part of the group actually performed around December of last year at the Gandhi 3.0 camp, and I was a part of that in the evening show. So I met
Yeah.
a lot of those little kids. Some of them
Was
were,
it this show or this
yeah,
last?
yeah. Well, the same children were there. So they
Yeah.
came, they performed.
Were you there in 2020? You're saying this
Yes.
January? Oh, nice, good. Yeah. So you
Yes,
must have
yes.
met them.
Yes, I was there.
Good.
That's true. It was amazing. I don't know if you were there or not, but
Oh yeah, I was there, of course. Yeah.
okay, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
yeah.
dream. I've been on my journey called the Dance of Compassion. Like you produce music and videos, I just dance. I just
Nice.
dance wherever I go. So for me, it's been my dance, going around, meeting people, and holding leadership workshops. But actually, it's not like I make others leaders. We all bring out the best in each of us. So that's
Right.
been my journey. But yes,
Awesome.
I met a whole bunch of the children. I remember now, you actually sang a song from the stage and they were dancing to it.
Ah, right,
Yes,
right, right.
yes.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, like a few people came up afterwards after their performance to meet them and give them hugs and stuff like that.
Exactly, exactly. So
That's
yeah,
wonderful.
any words of wisdom given the pandemic and the challenges people are going through, the economic challenges, the health challenges. This is very much, this is now a global chaotic phenomenon. It's not restricted to any one neighborhood. It's not restricted to any one locality, but not just human beings either. Because when we get affected, our pets get affected, our, everything, some in a positive way. The plants are getting
Yeah.
a chance to grow when we are
Yeah.
away from the roads and we are away
Yeah.
from, we're not polluting the environment much. But do you have any do you have any suggestions on how people can take this pandemic and the chaos that's ensued at every level? How can we all grow through this? Any suggestions?
Well, I mean, I'm no one to give any suggestions, but like you said, like from our own experiences, what do we feel from this situation? And I think, like we were talking about, suffering gives us an become resilient and to transform into really, I think, more sustainably happy and joyous beings if we respond to suffering with equanimity, with resilience, and with balance, knowing that this will pass. But how do we get back to the basics? How do we start appreciating the small things? How do we start moving from complaining to gratitude? And if so it's like this is a turning point for a lot of us. I think we can use this moment in time to really say that when this is done, we're going to be in not in a space of relief, but in a space of kind of like we have had a chance to rewire ourselves so that now we've become more resilient, that these type of things won't affect us as much, that when it's normal, we're ecstatic and full of gratitude. So now the normal becomes this gracious experience, this blessed experience, this blissful experience, and the devastation becomes a space of balance and equanimity. So this is a moment for us to practice, I feel like, and really realize that we have been living a life, in a sense, at a macro level of many blessings. And yet we, as human nature has it, we take it for granted. So can we rewire ourselves during this time? Can we put in habits to reflect and think about these things on a daily basis so that the wiring shifts, a little every day, and we get to a space of deeper gratitude, more equanimity, and less, I guess, aversion or less complaining or whatever it could be, and use those moments to shift on the other side of the spectrum that's what I feel we're being given an opportunity for right now, you know. So that's what I'm feeling.
Well, thank you again, Nimo. It's just a blessing to be able to talk to you one-on-one. This is the very first time that you and I are talking one-on-one. Although I've
Yeah,
seen your
thank
work
you.
and been there, so I'm glad that we're doing this. And
Thank you, brother, for reaching out. I
yeah,
appreciate that.
if I
I
have any
appreciate it.
dream in this arena, it's to be a part of your next video somehow.
Oh,
Sneak in there. Sneak in there somehow.
actually, yeah, we got to do that. We got to. I'll try to remember that.
I'm very good at sneaking in. I've been a part of so many different
Photo bombing. Wait,
what
were
about thing. Yeah.
you were in the video of the Ode to Women video or no?
I don't know. I haven't been looking. Am I there or not? I've not done that. But the
You were
interesting
there.
thing is that I just let it happen, because as I've done these kinds of videos, short ones, but not done professional music videos. But in any case, there's a lot of editing that has to happen. They cannot possibly have everything. It has to be condensed into a short message, unlike this live stream, right? I know fully well that not everything will make it to the cut.
Yeah.
But
we have to do it next time.
yeah, I'm so glad that we talked. I'm so glad you shared totally with full vulnerability. And that's the beauty of life, to be able to, you have nothing to hide, just empty hands to show. And that's amazing.
Yeah, brother. No, I definitely feel that. You know, we're here for a moment, we're gone soon. We're blessed to be here. Nothing is ours, and we're blessed to do whatever we can do. And again, it's like the more ownership we take, the more of a false sense of living we're kind of, getting into. So it's great to be around noble friends like yourself, understanding that we are just here and do what we can,
And if there's anybody I would like to thank in particular for this video to happen, it's Nipun Bhai and Guri, who got me started on my journey back to India and back around the world, doing whatever little I can do. And also from what I heard, Nimo, Nipun and Guri were a big inspiration for your journey, which I didn't know. And
they still are.
Dozens of people at the Sabarmati Ashram and at ESI Sugad, including Jayesh Bhai and Arben, Viren Bhai, Ajay, hundreds. I cannot even name everybody. But, and of course, with the blessings of Vinoba Bhave and Mahatma Gandhi, it's just a blessing to have these elders, some of them through the generations who have inspired us. And may your work, Nimo, continue to inspire many more people. And may we all be that little bit of, seed that can help others to grow further.
That's right. That's it. One small step at a time.
Yes, yes.
Doing good. Thank you, Shankarji. I appreciate it, brother. And we'll be in touch.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Nimo.
Okay, buddy. Bye.
Bye.